It's a beautiful Saturday and it's the first show of the 2023, which is the new year, and hopefully we've come to this new year by the grace of God, if I put it that way, because it's not everyone who has made it, but if you've made it, praise the Lord for that. It's not by mighty or by faith, but by His grace, and that's the Lord Jesus Christ. Welcome to Off the Pitch. People might think that, oh, the guy today is preaching, but no, this is a sports show, and we are here to give you nothing but the best in terms of sports, and I'm your host, Amos, aka Amore, and I'm not alone on set. I'm joined by one Augustine. Augustine, welcome to the show and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, to Amos, and Happy New Year to our viewers out there. We return all the glory and honor to the Most High God. We are here, like you said, not by power, not by might, it's only by His grace. And we just hope that we will improve this year and have a wonderful time together with you, the viewers out there. And condolences to the football fraternity once more. The passing on of Gianluca Vialli, Italian legend and Chelsea, former Chelsea striker. I think it's a sad loss for football fraternity. It's not. I think the last show that we had, it was Pele. Now it's Gianluca Vialli. It's a dark cloud hanging over football, but life goes on.
Yeah, true. And with such an eventful year that we had last year, where we saw a lot of achievements, that's from the football fraternity side, and hopefully we will see that coming this year. But anyways, before we kickstart the show, Augustine, to look at the things that we have to discuss, today we are seeing our very own Gianni Sikazwe, maybe just for a start, officiating his last game after 23 years, and he will officiate in the game that will take place at the Hero Stadium. That's NAPSA, will be hosting, attending the defending champions, that's Red Arrows, in a Week 18 fixture. How is it going to be for him, and how is his preparation, knowing that it's his last game? You know, people always say, leave the stage whilst people are still clapping. A simple mistake can cost him something today.
I think if you look at Gianni Sikazwe, I think it's a befitting ending to his last year's career. It's going to be at the National Hero Stadium, and Gianni Sikazwe is decorated. He's a hero of Zambian football, and I will always remember him for being one of those most athletic referees that you ever seen. He was always consistency with his performances. Yes, he may have the bad moments in his career. Everyone has that in life. And Gianni Sikazwe, a very, very good officiator. And today, last game, Red Arrows versus NAPSA, I think it will not be judged by what happens this afternoon at Hero Stadium, because you know there will be some emotions in him. It's going to be very, very difficult for him to walk away from something that he has loved doing for over 23 years. And he's someone who was once dreamt of being a footballer, but he didn't make it. Then he went into officiating. He's officiated at 2 World Cups. He's been at the Africa Cup of Nations. He's officiated at the FIFA Clubs World Cup. I doubt if we ever see a referee from Zambia who will be as decorated as Gianni Sikazwe, but he has been a very, very great servant to Zambian football. And Mr. Gianni Sikazwe would like to wish you all the very best in your new endeavors. And thank you for what you've done for Zambian football.
And hopefully, it's not like we'll be seeing the last of him. He has to take part maybe in grooming these upcoming referees that we have in Zambia. So hopefully he'll play a part in terms of the Zambian league as a concern. For now, we'll just take a very, very short break, and we'll be right back to discuss nothing but the transfers that are happening and some of the games that are being played today, that's in the First Division League, and the game that took place yesterday when FC Muza managed to shoot Green Buffaloes. For now, we'll take a very short break.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet Channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Some of the amazing transfers that are taking place and teams are trying to shape up, looking at them wanting to go in this second round with a bang. But let's first look at the reinforcement, Augustine, of the coaching staff at Red Arrows. The team has managed to bring in the likes of Francis Sikombe, Bronson Chama, and not forgetting Webster Mulenga. How is this inclusion of the coaching staff going to help Red Arrows in terms of defending the title?
I think the changes that have been made on the technical bench will just enhance the chances of Red Arrows trying to defend the league title or better still qualify for continental football. Because you remember Red Arrows had Mr. Oswald Mutapa as the technical director of the football club. He left to join Nkwazi Football Club, and ever since Chisimbewe lost Songwe Chalwe to Power Dynamo, who was his right-hand man, he has only been with Dominic Yobe on that technical bench, and Khalido Kakonja, Nelson Luwawa as the goalkeeping trainers. But now the coming in of Webster Mulenga, Bronson Chama, and Francis Kombe, who make Chisimbewe's backroom staff a little bit bigger. They will share ideas and see how they can develop as a club going forward. And these people that have joined the football club are people that have been in and around the football club. They were involved with youth team setup. They have just been promoted to this level, so they understand the Red Arrows way of playing football, and they understand the demands from the football fans, and what Chisimbewe is about as a man and as a coach. So it's going to be very, very important. It's going to be hopefully a fruitful relationship that will see these guys get better results, not just at the league level, but even in continental football.
Let's look at the return of Albert Kangwanda, Augustine. Something that has come of I don't know, still wanting to strengthen the striking force, because we've got the likes of James Chamanga, Sabobo, and Conrad Luchanga, and Joseph Piri. And now Albert Kangwanda, is it something that will bring competition, or maybe it's something that will find himself in the starting 11?
I think you see, Red Arrows at the start of the first round, they struggled with injuries. Sutra Shimenga, 3/3 of the season, or the first half, he didn't play. Tiza Chaivela hasn't played any football this season. Ricky Banda has been in and out because of injury. Conrad Luchanga, there was a period he was out with injury, so you could see that there has been problem in that regard. And every time when players go missing, they lack the depth. So now they're trying to have strength and depth as a football club, because you see, if Albert Kangwanda comes in at Red Arrows, he completes the deal. Kangwanda offers you a different dimension. He can play as a wide player, he can play as a central striker, and he can play as a 10, and he can bring something different to Red Arrows. Red Arrows were looking for wide players in this window to try and beef up that department, because they felt that it's an area where they were not doing very, very well, because you do remember large parts of the first round, Conrad Luchanga was being played as a left winger. Yeah, so now with the coming in of Felix Bulaya from Zanaco, he's back. He was on loan at Zanaco, now he's back at Red Arrows. Probably now we may see Luchanga playing more down the middle and offer competition to the likes of Joseph Piri, James Chamanga, and Ricky Banda. And you look at the club, they've brought in Michael Nzonzi, a central defender from Congo DR. he's going to come in probably as a direct replacement for Tresor Shubwabwa. You remember Red Arrows in the market, they went and brought in Rudy Makwekwe. He made 2 appearances, and on his second appearance for Red Arrows, he got a terrible injury. He's still on crutches, he's still recovering. So they've thought to try and bring Zonzi. From what I get from the football club, he can play as a centre back, and he can also play as a holding midfielder. He's very, very versatile, and we hope we'll just help Red Arrows move even further going in terms of continental football, because Zambian football last year, it was poor when it comes to representation at the highest level. Now we want teams to be very, very well equipped if they are going to go to the continental football and represent Zambia. A lot of changes at Red Arrows. It will take time for everything to settle down. New coaches, new players, but they just have to be patient and trust the process.
Is Power Dynamos, Augustine, ready to let go of Kennedy Musonda, who is making a lot of headlines in terms of this January transfer window? And now we've seen the likes of TP Mazembe coming into the race. So are we seeing Power Dynamos releasing the top scorer of the Zambian League with 11 goals?
It's going to be very, very tricky at the start of the January window, where it updated that TP Mazembe have come in for Kennedy Musonda. They're interested in the striker services because Moses Katumbi looks at him and it might be the missing piece of the jigsaw, because TP Mazembe are going into the group stages of continental football, and they would love to have strength and depth in order for them to progress further, because you know TP Mazembe, they have missed out on winning continental football, and they need to try and get the best talent to try and do that. They already have Kabaso Chongo, Renford Karava, and Tandi Mwape from Zambia. Now they are looking at Kennedy Musonda. They offered him big money to move to Congo. I believe Simba and Yanga have come in to try and hijack the deal. Simba are very, very interested in signing Kennedy Musonda. They do already have Cletus Chamachota and Moses Piva have been doing very, very well for Simba. Yanga likewise, they have got Lazarus Kambole, so he might be moving to any of the teams. Power Dynamos, from what I got yesterday, probably they might be losing Kennedy Musonda, and it is believed that he's moving to Tanzania, but we are yet to find out whether it's Simba or Yanga. But as time unfolds, we'll try and get the full information and tell the public where is Kennedy Musonda moving to. From my sources indicate that Kennedy Musonda won't be part of the Power Dynamos team, which will be playing Kwazi this afternoon. So you might get an indication that it's getting ever closer, his exit at Arthur Davis Stadium. I believe it will do them very, very bad, Power Dynamos, because he's the guy that has been getting them the goals. Power Dynamos, they have struggled in front of goal. Last season they struggled in front of goal. They never had that guy who was getting them a lot of goals. But this season, Kennedy Musonda has looked sharp. He's got them the goals, and you can see where Power Dynamos are now. They're top of the league. If he leaves, what is the next step for Power Dynamos? Do they now start playing Brian Miller down the middle because he's being played in wide areas, or probably they'll go with Kunda? But it's going to be very, very tricky to see how Power Dynamos will work things out. If they were to lose Kennedy Musonda in this window, it will be very, very difficult for them to replace. Not a lot of teams are willing to do the business in January, because every team has got their own agendas, unless a player is very much willing to move. But if Power Dynamos are going to approach teams to try and replace Musonda, it's going to be very, very tough. And if you look across the league, who is close, who probably can go there and do the job for them? I feel Andrew Piri, FC Muza striker. If Power Dynamos can look at him, he's a very, very good striker. With the way the Power Dynamos play, the number of chances they create, he might just be the guy that sees them through over the line in terms of winning the league title. Because at this stage, if they lose Kennedy Musonda, it will be a very, very big blow for Power Dynamos, because the last 2 or 3 champions in the league have had that guy who has got them a lot of goals. Last season, it was Ricky Banda for Red Arrows, and they won the league title. This season, you can see it's Kedo. He's been doing the job for Power Dynamos, and now they're top of the league. If they were to lose that, it will be a very, very tough 17 games for Power Dynamos in their quest to try and win the championship.
But let's look at many. We've seen a lot of strikers failing once they leave the Zambian Super League, and I would say our very own crop, which is Zambian. We saw the likes of Kambole, and at some point there was also TP Mazembe wanting to. Kaizer Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken, wanting the acquisition of Sam Kennedy. But let's look at it in this way, Augustine. If he manages to go to Tanzania and maybe Simba goes in and poaches the guy, how lethal is the partnership going to be between Kennedy Musonda and Moses Phiri?
I think if you look at Kennedy Musonda, he's a boy who has been learning. He's been learning. He came from Spain, then he joined Lusaka Dynamos, then he later moved to Zanaco, which looked like the move was very, very early in his career. He didn't do well at Zanaco. Then he moved to Green Eagles. He got his career back on track. Power Dynamos went in for him. He hasn't had a very, very good spell at Power Dynamos. It has been ups and downs, and this has been his best season at Power Dynamos with 11 goals so far. And going into a club probably like TP Mazembe or Simba, there will be a lot of expectations, because you look at the price tag that's being quoted and the amounts that they will be paying him. I think it comes with a lot of pressure. He needs to stand up and be brave, and I believe he's a very, very intelligent boy. He's very, very humble and honest, very, very hardworking, Kennedy Musonda, and he's looking at age. You do realize Kennedy Musonda is 28 years old. You are never going to get a lot of offers at that age. Probably this is the best time for him to move and make the money, because it's not just there's life after football. Yeah, he needs to take care of his family. So if the money is good, I wouldn't be surprised that he moves. Power Dynamos fans will not be very, very happy with him moving away. Probably they will think he can stay on for 6 months, get more goals, win the Golden Boot, win Power Dynamos the league. His CV gets better, and probably he moves to Tanzania. Probably that can be my advice too, because I feel he's on such great form. If he continues, he may get probably 20 goals in the season. Not a lot of defenders want to face Kennedy Musonda currently, because he's in hot form. And a move away, probably he may have to settle for being second best where he may go, and things might not just work out for him. But I just wish him all the best with the decisions that he makes, whether to stay at Power Dynamos or whether to move on.
Let's look at Forest Rangers, Augustine. They've been in the market as well, and they've managed to sign Mande Walia. That's on a 2-year deal from FC Muza, and Walia joins Forest after an impressive run on loan at Budicon this season. How is this acquisition going to help Forest Rangers?
Forest Rangers, they have brought in 2 players during this transfer window, Mande Walia and
Aminu Moro.
Moro was at Forest Rangers at last season. Then at the start of the season, he moved to Lumana Radiance. His form has been great from Lumana Radiance. Forest Rangers have gone in and brought him back to the football club. And the coming in of Mande Walia, you do realize Forest Rangers lost their captain last season. In Renault Muma, he moved on to Power Dynamos at the start of this season. Then they have lost Mpo. He's moved on to South Africa, back to his hometown. So now you do realize in that creative part, they've lost 2 good players. Who do they replace him with? Mande. Mande has been brilliant for Budicon. He's been one of the boys to watch every time he steps onto the field of play for Budicon. He's a very, very intelligent lad. He manipulates the ball very well. When he gets into tight spaces, he makes things happen, and he will bring that to Forest Rangers, playing alongside probably Clifford Mulenga and Luambo Moela, who is another player who is enjoying great form at the moment. With Mande Walia behind him, we will get a lot of goals and try and see Forest Rangers get back to continental football, which is probably their dream. And at the start of this week, news that was coming in from Forest Rangers is that Shadrack Malambo was going to part ways with Forest Rangers, but what we got in the last 24 hours that Shadrack Malambo will extend his stay at Forest Rangers, and I feel he's got the experience. He's going to be a very, very big figure in that dressing room, Shadrack Malambo, and to play alongside players like Shitoshi Chinga, who has been very, very outstanding this season for Forest Rangers. This is a very, very good acquisition. Monday, Red Arrows were in for Mande Walia, but they lost the rest to Forest Rangers. He's a very, very good signing for Forest Rangers.
Are there any rumors that are making the headlines, the airwaves so far, that haven't yet been confirmed?
I think we'll go back to Kitwe, Nkana Football Club. there's news that's coming through that Alex Ngonga might be on his way out to the DRC to join TP Mazembe, because you do realize Ngonga was slapped with a ban. He will not play any football until next season, and he feels like he has been treated unfairly. Probably might be moving to TP Mazembe, but we'll see how that will unfold. Nkana are still in the market to try and bring in a striker to try and fill the gap that Alex Ngonga has left, because he won't be playing until next season. We'll wait to see who they sign. There is news that there is a Congolese that has come through at Nkana. We are waiting to see how it goes. Zesco United, there are a couple of players that have come through, a Nigerian and is it a Congolese? So these players have been assessed by Zesco United. News will come through whether they have been signed on or not. It's going to be interesting to see how teams will go with the transfer market. Nkwazi are in the relegation zone, and they might just lose two of their good players in Christopher Zulu, who is believed there is interest from Nkana Football Club. They're interested in getting Christopher Cardozo Zulu. They are interested to taking him to the Nkana Stadium. Another player who might leave Nkwazi is Andrew Mpande. There are links from Zesco United. Zesco United are interested in his services, but I believe Nkwazi will not let these players go very, very easily. With the coming in of Oswald Mutapa, their first target is to try and stay up, try and survive this relegation zone. Yeah, and in Kabwe, Warriors have been struggling. Another team which is in the relegation zone. They look like Toropa, Matthews Toropa probably might be joining Warriors to try and strengthen their midfield and their attacking option as they try to stay up with Numba Mamba, their new coach. It's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds in this January window, because most of the teams are trying to get the business done as soon as possible so that they may have all the players before the 31st, the deadline day, so that they reinforce and try and have a better season. Most of the teams that are filling up gaps is areas where they feel they are not doing very well, areas where they need to strengthen, and teams are going strong. Zanaco, we haven't heard much from them. They've parted ways with Felix Ulaya. He was on loan there from Red Arrows. He's going back to the parent club, and we wait to see what he does. Amunique in this transfer market. When he came to Zanaco, he felt that he needs to add in terms of his attacking force, and that's something which is very, very evident. If you look at this season, they haven't had a lot of goals in them. Zanaco, if they can bring someone who can get them the goals, that would be very, very good for them.
Yes, those are some of the transfer news that is happening, and we will still give you an update as the day goes by, or as this month goes by, because we are looking at the January window transfer. But we won't shy away and forget to say the Eden, the FAS National Division 1 League, is back as well this week. And we've got some exciting game. Let's just take a look at the fixtures that are making headline for today. We've got at 13 hours, that's Atletico versus Zesco Malaiti, and it will be played at the Toyota Arena, that's here in Lusaka. And at 15 hours, we've got City of Lusaka versus Bats. That will be at the Woodlands Stadium, that's here in Lusaka, and it will be also live on TV. At 15 hours today, we've got Quito United versus Mighty Mofulira Wanderers. And again at 15 hours, we've got Indeni versus Aquila Stars. And at 15 hours, again, we've got Young Buffaloes versus Kafue Celtic. And at 15 hours, again, we've got Kongola Blades versus Kafue Eagles. And Lusaka Dynamos versus Trident. Augustine, these are the fixtures that we have today. Any fixture or any game that is of interest to you?
I think the Lusaka derby, Atletico Lusaka and Zesco Malaiti, both sides have struggled this season, and this Atletico side, they look like they lack a lot of experience in this league. They need to try and pull their socks up if they have to stay up, but they're playing good football, but they're not killing games, they're not managing games very well. And coming up against a Zesco Malaiti side, which has also been struggling this season, they will try and look at this and try and get all 3 points and go to safe land. Another interesting encounter is at Woodland Stadium, City of Lusaka against Bats. City of Lusaka, I think they need to try and put their house in order. This is a team which has always look like they are closer to building a team that will qualify for the Super League, but they always fell short. They need to try and improve that. I think a good example is Mighty Mfulira Wanderers. This afternoon, Mighty Mfulira Wanderers will try and start strong in the second round to try and cement their place so that they get back to the Super League. It's going to be interesting to have teams like Mighty Mfulira Wanderers back in the Super League. We have got Nchanga Rangers back, and we want to see Mighty Mfulira Wanderers bounce back. Trident are not going to make it easy for Mighty Mfulira Wanderers. They look like a team that is going to chase Mighty Mfulira Wanderers all the way for that league title. And impressive teams have been debutants like Gwila. They have been very, very decent. And the most impressive has been Mutondo Stars. They are closer to the promotion places. They are just separated by goal difference. They have had a very, very good start to the season under Zed Saileti. He's doing a very, very good job. They have got a very, very good striker, Titus Chancer. He has got a brilliant left foot. He's one to look out for the future. And their goalkeeper, Gwezani Mbewe, very, very good. If you look at Mutondo, they're an exciting team. They play good attacking football. And we just hope they have the same way they did in the first round. They have a very, very good second round. And teams like Konkora Blades had a poor start to the league, but they have picked up and gained momentum. They look like a side that will also be knocking on those promotion places. It's going to be very, very interesting because now, up to the end of the season, each point counts because teams now are playing for different things. Others are playing to stay in the league and others are chasing for those promotion places, and the National League always excites. It brings sparks. I think we always watch beautiful football in the National League, and we just hope the best teams qualify to the Super League.
Before we switch our attention, Augustine, let's look at one of the biggest games that's there today, regardless of what. Let's look at the Young Buffaloes versus Kafue Celtic game, and it will be played at the Independence Stadium. And we are just looking at a team that is separated maybe by a few meters away, if I would say. So this is a cracker of a game, and we've seen the likes of Kafue Celtic having played their trade again, that's in the Super League. Who are you giving it to in terms of this cracker of a game?
It's going to be an interesting encounter. If you look at Young Green Buffaloes under Diaz Kakunta, I think they look a very, very different proposition. The way Diaz Kakunta has assembled this team, he has just assembled this team in the last 6 months. He lost a lot of his players. He had to go on into these academies and bring these young boys together, and he has had a very, very good start to the season. Diaz Kakunta, they play very good football, and they are one of the highest scorers in the league, and defensively they are very, very solid. Young Buffalo, they have got Nebat Musawa, formerly of Green Buffaloes. He's back at Young Buffaloes, and we expect a very, very entertaining encounter. The last time they played at Independence Stadium, Young Buffaloes, they hosted Mutondo. They left it late to equalize, to try and stay into the game. It went, they drew 2-2. Kafue Celtic, another entertaining young side. They've got a lot of young players with great potential, and it's going to be a very, very good encounter this afternoon. But I feel slightly I give it to Young Green Buffaloes because Diaz Kakunta has built a very, very strong side with young players, and this January window he was talking about bringing in a little bit of experience to try and see them over the line. And if they have had better acquisitions that have come in at Young Buffaloes with their support from Matero, they are winning this one. It's
a shared game of fans today, because even in the Hero Stadium we've got a double header game, and hopefully the fans will manage to go and watch this cracker of a game that's Young Green Buffaloes versus Kafue Celtic. And tomorrow, the 8th of January, we've got Mutondo Stars versus Mpolongo Heber and Jumulo versus Livingston Pirates. So those are some of the games that are making the FAS National Division 1 League. For now, we'll just take a very, very short break as we come back and look at the MTN Super League.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
FC Muza wants to shock the MTN Super League by doing the Leicester City, and we saw them slaying Green Buffaloes by 2-1. Augustine, the result that a lot of people didn't expect. But like you said it earlier when we were just starting the show, you said the Giant Killers, and they kickstarted round of 18 yesterday, or maybe game number 18 in the Zambian Super League, with a win against the mighty Green Buffaloes.
Yeah, and before we delve deep into the Super League, and I've just received some news regarding Kennedy Musonda. There are some sources in Tanzania that said he has moved to Yanga, and my sources believe Yanga have completed the deal of Kennedy Musonda. Then Power Dynamo's stance says that they are still in negotiation with both Yanga and TP Mazembe. That's the current status quo. TP Mazembe are in. They have started negotiations. Yanga are believed to have sealed the deal, and Kennedy Musonda was probably on his way to Tanzania. We wait to see how it unfolds and see how the deal will go through. But from the look of things, Kennedy Musonda will not be staying at Power Dynamos. It seems even the club are now resigned to losing Power Dynamos. And interesting enough, Power Dynamos during the week they were launching their new kit. Red Arrows will be launching their new kit. I think, to me, I'm always surprised. How do you launch your kits halfway through the season with Zambian clubs? I think that's a story for another day. And coming into yesterday's game, GBFC Muza met in the first week one in Mazabuka. Muza got in front. Then young Golden Mashata equalized, and the game ended 1-1. It was Masa Sotembo going back to the place he called home, and this time around Muza were visiting Lusaka to play GBFC, who have been in very, very good form. They've managed to qualify for the APSA Cup, and coming up against a young youth from Muza, it was going to be a big test for GBFC, in as much as it was a big test for Muza. Muza play a very good brand of football. They are fearless. They have got very, very good interchange. They play attacking game, and one exciting player has been Mutari, their captain in central midfield. Very, very good. Kelvin, he's the one who links up Muza's play, and Chideshe, another centre back, he's a very, very good boy. He's being played as a left back, and they're getting the results. I think credit must go to Lamek Banda. He's done a very good job at Muza to try and stabilize them and probably stay up this season. You remember the first time they came up was in the transition season. They immediately got relegated, but now they have put their house in order. I think they have gone to try and see what went wrong in the first time when they came to the Super League and they found the answers and the Keith Mwemba, their chairman, he's been doing a brilliant job for that football club, and we just hope to see Musa stay up this season and the coming seasons as well.
Before we take a look at the games that are being played today, Augustine, or maybe this week, that's in the MTN Super League, let's just take a look at the table to see where, after Musa managing to beat Green Buffaloes, they flocked into number 4, Augustine, trying to chase the dream, and that dream is to win the Super League.
Yeah, so if you look at this, the result will favor Power Dynamos more than anything, because now if Power Dynamos manage to beat Ngwazi, they'll open up that big gap between them and GBFC, who are the second team, and they will start breathing easily. Musa, it was a very, very needed win for them to try and show people that first round wasn't a fluke. They can do just as much this season, and away to GBFC, it's not an easy place, and big teams have struggled to win against GBFC, but this Musa side, very, very brave. They've come and beat GBFC at their home ground. You can see in their last 6 games, 3 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. Not very, very bad for a promoted side like Musa. Going into this afternoon's encounter, teams like Cow Warriors, Nkwazi, they will be under pressure. Lumwana Radiants are visiting Green Eagles. It's not going to be very, very easy for them to try and escape that relegation zone, but we wait to see what happens this afternoon.
This table is courtesy of Bwezani Mbewe. Is the one who gives us these wonderful, wonderful tables that we always refer to. And like you've said, Augustine, going into the games today, we are looking at, let me just start by an early kickoff. And that's Zanaco hosting Chambeshi, and this one will be played at the Hero Stadium. And we're looking at the Zanaco team that has been stable of late, and you said it to say, going into the window, we haven't heard any rumors or any signing from them. And it's a Zanaco team that has to play for everything in today's game, but looking at Chambeshi FC, they want to give it everything as well. Who are you going to give it to?
I think it's going to be an interesting encounter. We've seen Chambeshi upset the odds already this season. They've had huge upsets, winning away in Choma, winning at Napsa Stars, beating Kana. I remember even the PR was very, very confident, said this would be our first win of the season, and then they went on to beat Kana Football Club. They're a very, very confident side. They play some good football, and coming up against Zanaco, which is coached by Emmanuel Amunike. Amunike, he came to Zanaco as a consultant, but we can say he is the head coach at Zanaco, and he's trying to change the way they play as a football club. And one thing that he talked about in the interview he did with Gaspar Nguruwe, he said he was trying to improve them without the ball. That's an area where Zanaco were very, very bad. When he took over, they were leaking in a lot of goals, but now you can see that they're playing with a decent shape. They can defend as a unit and attack as a unit. And going into this afternoon's encounter at the National Hero Stadium, lunchtime kickoff, these are very, very difficult games. Against Chambeshi, you need to start strong, and they will be relying on players like Chiteta Kwalowota. He's moved from Red Arrows to Zanaco on loan, and when he's being played by Amunike, he's being used as a right winger. He was playing as a right fullback, because Chiteta Kwalowota has got the energy to try and go up and down the pitch, and you give them that width, and you give them that much needed presence in both attack and defense. Boyd Musonda has looked different under Amunike. Likewise, Salwani P, who is going to be very, very key to try and distribute the balls in central midfield for Abraham Siankombo to feed off and finish for Zanaco. I see this to be a Zanaco direct win for Zanaco. I do not see another upset today by Chambeshi, but it's going to be very, very tough.
So it's a game being played. That's Zanaco, who is sitting 7th, and Chambeshi sitting at 9th, and these teams are just separated by 2 points, because Zanaco stands at 25 points and Chambeshi is standing at 23 points. Another game, Augustine, that's Beautycon, will be hosting Nchanga Rangers, and earlier you spoke of something to say Nchanga Rangers have gotten their promotion, and we are hoping that they will stay. But let's look at the Beautycon team that's sitting at 4 points, Augustine, and it's bottom of the table. They are fighting to survive relegation, and we've got Nchanga Rangers, who, if they manage to beat Beautycon, they will go to 24 points. That will be maybe somewhere 9th position.
Beautycon are trying very, very hard to beat the Mfuria Blackpool record of 9 points in the league without a victory. They are heading that direction with what's happening at Beautycon Football Club. 17 games, 4 points, that's not good enough. And this is a team which is destined for the drop. They will be relegated this season unless a big miracle happens, because now Beautycon are the whooping boys. Everyone, whenever they play Beautycon, they are seeing 3 points. So it's going to be very, very difficult for them to try and survive this relegation. I can safely say Beautycon will be relegated. We're just waiting for the other 3 that will be relegated. Nchanga Rangers, it will be a very, very big disappointing for them to lose points. They've made changes on that technical bench. They've brought in Agrech Yange. It's a decision which not a lot of football fans agree. Even some Nchanga fans, they felt Robert Tembo should have been given time to try and finish his project. He brought them up. They were very, very quick to make the decisions that probably it might backfire for Nchanga Rangers, the decision that they've made. But Agrech Yange, nothing to take away from the big man. He's a very, very good coach. But his brand of football is different from what Nchanga has been playing all along this season. So we might see a couple of players fading off. They might be not his favorites because he plays a more pragmatic game. He plays a little bit with caution. They play on a counter. So we might see a little bit of flair players being on the bench at Nchanga Rangers. It was rumored that their striker Christian Saile was attending trials at Kaizer Chiefs. It will be very, very difficult for them to hold on to Saile during this window. And if they manage to hold on to Saile, he will be one of their hopes to stay up. And I believe Nchanga Rangers are well equipped to stay up this season. And this afternoon against Beautycon, it's another victory for Nchanga. In the very reverse fixture, Nchanga won it by 2-0. They're winning this one by 2-1.
The Absa Cup, Augustine, the Absa Cup that played the Absa Cup final, that's last season, that's Red Arrows and NAPSA. And if we saw the opening game for this season, we saw again Red Arrows playing NAPSA Stars. And today they are meeting again and locking horns. And these are just separated by a margin of 6 points. That's just 2 games, Augustine. And we are looking at Red Arrows, who is sitting at 5th position. That is 27 points, and NAPSA Stars is sitting at 11th position. That's with 21 points, and they are playing today at Hero Stadium. That's the second game starting at 15 hours, and it will be the same game that will be officiated by one Janice Kazwe. Who are you giving it to, Augustine, NAPSA Stars or Red Arrows?
I think going into this afternoon's encounter at the National Hero Stadium, NAPSA Stars will fancy their chances against a struggling Red Arrows Football Club. Red Arrows have had a poor run of form in the last 5 games. They've only picked up 1 victory in their last 6 games. Red Arrows lost 3 games back to back, and coming up against NAPSA Stars, who are fresh from beating Prison Leopards by 4-1. It's going to be an interesting encounter at the National Hero Stadium. Very, very good surface for football. With these conditions, I think both teams would like to put the ball on the floor. They like to dominate play. It's going to be a very, very good advert for Zambian football. I expect Red Arrows to parade their new boys in Albert Kangwanda and Michael Nzonzi. Probably they will have
their debut today.
Yeah, they may make their debut in a Lusaka derby. But over the years, Red Arrows have dominated this fixture. But NAPSA Stars are fresh from beating Red Arrows in the Absa Cup final. They will fancy their chances again to try and get one over the champions. But I think this might just be a draw like it was in week 1.
Another exciting encounter, Augustine, is Power Dynamos, who are playing host to Ngwazi. And we are looking at the Power Dynamos that wants to extend its lead on top of the table. And we are looking at, again, the Ngwazi team that wants to fight relegation. And if they manage to win this, Ngwazi will go to 20 points, Augustine. And if Power Dynamos manages to win this, they will go to 38 points. But let's look at let's look at Kennedy Msonda not being in the squad. Hopefully it won't affect anything going into this game.
Yeah, I think one thing that you get from games like this, I think there will be mixed emotions from the fans. They are excited, they are enjoying life, Power Dynamos on top of the table, but on the back of their mind they'll be worried. with the fear of losing their main striker in Kennedy Musonda. Jacob Kaunda, can he step in the big shoes that Kennedy Musonda will leave behind O'Brien Miller? I think that's a story for another day. It's going to be very, very difficult. And also Adi Mutapa will try and motivate his charges. First game as Mkwazi coach, as he has returned to the football club, he will try and make them first solid defensively. I might not be surprised to see a draw at Arthur Davis Stadium, because Mkwazi will go out there, they will try and close all the spaces in the central areas to try and make it difficult for Power Dynamos to play their beautiful flowing football. If they might just silence Power Dynamos for the first 45 minutes, they stand a chance in Mkwazi, but it's going to be very, very difficult away from home, playing against the league leaders in Power Dynamos. I see a Power Dynamos victory, but it's going to be a slender victory for Power Dynamos.
Another interesting fixture, Augustine, that I've seen is Forest Rangers versus Kansanshi Dynamos. We are seeing at the Forest Rangers squad, like we hosted Clifford Mulenga the other time on the show, he said songs have already started. The Copper Belt singing, they are looking forward to continental football. And we are seeing a Forest Rangers team today. If they manage to beat Kansanshi Dynamos, Augustine, they'll get position number 2. But again, we are looking at Kansanshi Dynamos, who are also fighting to gain more points. But let's look at the power force of Forest Rangers and some of the signings that they've brought in. Like we saw the likes of Mande Wadia.
Yeah, I think Mande will bring a very, very big difference to this Forest Rangers team. He's a very, very creative and intelligent player. Playing alongside Clifford Mulenga will only help and help him get better in his career. They are coming up against the Kansanshi Dynamos. The previous time these two teams met, it ended goalless, and now Forest Rangers are hosting Kansanshi Dynamos in Ndola. It's going to be a very, very fast encounter. We do not expect a lot of goals from this encounter. Boyd Mulwanda and Ian Bakala are one of the most upcoming and promising coaches on the football scene currently in the Zambian setup, and they're going head to head. It's going to be a tactical battle. Probably one new scoreline for Forest Rangers might be the result come the end of the day.
The return of one chicken, George Rwanda Augustine, will be tested today, and they are playing Prison Leopards, and we are seeing a Prison Leopards that is sitting at 8th position, and Zesco United is sitting at 12th position, and the difference between these two teams, the difference gap is just 4 points. Let's look at the biggest test that Chicken has.
Fresh from being beaten 4-1 by Napsa Stars, Prison Leopards, they're going again to a wounded Zesco United side which wants to reclaim their top position, and under George Rwandamina, he's trying to make a couple of signings to try and strengthen that Zesco United team, to try and see them achieve greatness. It's not going to be easy. Zesco United, I feel that like they're a club in transition. They have been through a bad period, and now they're trying to get back to their high heights, and against a Prison Leopard side, it's difficult to play Prison Leopards because they are mostly unpredictable with their performances. They do turn up. When they turn up, they do play good football. Winda Mundia has been very, very good for them. Zephania Piri, likewise. Lundu Miete, I feel if Lundu Miete is on song today, it will be very, very difficult for Zesco United to beat Prison Leopards, because Lundu Miete is the guy that is always picking up the balls and make things happen. He's the playmaker for this Prison Leopards side, and he will prove to be a difference. And him going up with Kapumbu, it will be a very, very good battle in central midfield. Whoever wins that battle probably will win this game for their team. But it looks like a 2-1 victory for Zesco.
I think we've missed one Angle Rapson for a couple of weeks now. And if he was here, he would have said something positive about the Ngana game versus Kawe Warriors, Augustine. And we are looking at Ngana, who is sitting at position number 14, and Kawe Warriors at position number 17, and they are just being separated by 4 points, and it will be a cracker of a game that will be played tomorrow.
Uncle Rapson is in hiding. He's in big hiding because Ghana is not doing well, and the certain team in Kitwe, which wears yellow in Power Dynamos, is dominating. That's why Uncle Rapson is in hiding and is not sitting on the show. And coming to this encounter, Kawa is hosting the mighty Nkana. I must add, the Mighty Nkana, the record time champions. It's going to be an interesting encounter. Numba Mamba's first game in charge as Karo Warriors boss is going to be tested because in recent years, Nkana Football Club have dominated this fixture, and going into this afternoon's encounter, you do not know what to give. Is it Power than Nkana's good run against Karo Warriors, or will Karo Warriors now wake up from their slumber and start grabbing this season by its horns? And I feel Numba Mambas coming in at Karo Warriors, it is a fresh start. The atmosphere will be very, very different. Wherever Nkana travels, it attracts a lot of fans, and I believe there will be a huge turnout in this encounter, and probably Karo Warriors victory will happen. Sorry, Uncle Rapson and Nkana fans, but Karo Warriors are winning this one.
An apology from Augustine has been done, Uncle Rapson, but hopefully to have you this coming weekend so that you show Augustine that you are not in the hideout. But before we switch our attention, Augustine, into some of the other leagues that are there that's in the European, but let's just take a look at the table as we go into the second round of the MTN Super League. Let's take a look at the table of top scorers that we have so far. If we can just have, that's how the table is looking like, Augustine, in terms of the top scorers that we have, and we are seeing one Kennedy Msonda who might just leave the league.
Yeah, he's running away.
Are we seeing anyone surpassing that 11 goals?
He's running away with the top scorers award, Kennedy Musonda, but 17 games without playing will be very, very huge for him to hold on to that position and win the Golden Boot, because I believe Andy Boyela, Chambishi, he's been getting them the goals. Likewise, Andrew Piri, there were always question marks surrounding Andrew Piri. He did it in the National League. Can he do it in the Super League? And he's up there. We've seen he's doing it. He's a very, very good boy. Luambo Moyela, he's one player who is looking at Forest Rangers qualifying for continental football. And he's the guy, he's their main man. They will try and find him so that he gets them the goals and sees them win the top scorers award. I believe if Kennedy Musonda goes to Tanzania or TP Mazembe, he won't win the Golden Boot, because any of those that are just underneath him will have a very, very good second round and will score more than 6 goals to try and win that Golden Boot.
So those are the top scorers that we have so far. That's as we go into the second of the MTN Super League. And that table is courtesy of Mukaumba, the one who compiled that list. But Augustine, we saw Man U hosting Everton. That was in the FA, where they managed to beat them 3-1. But before that, we saw a game that was played. That was a game in hand. I say that's Manchester City, who managed to beat Chelsea by 1-0, and the run of Chelsea has been a very, very bad one so far since Potter took over. And some of the games that are making the airwaves today, that's in the FA, Augustine, there's the likes of Crystal Palace that will be hosting Southampton. I think this is one of the games that is being played today, and it's one of the bigger ones, and it's starting at 14:30.
It's interesting to see how the FA Cup will turn out, and the romance it brings. We saw Manchester United beating Everton by 3-1. Marcus Rashford stole the show. Manchester United in form, Everton all over the place. They are really struggling under Frank Lampard. I do not think he will finish the job as Everton coach. I think he will be sacked along the way, because they are very, very poor, Everton. And this afternoon, there are interesting encounters. We will see Portsmouth, the mighty Portsmouth, former team for Collins Mbesuma, taking on Tottenham at the London Stadium. I think that's going to be an easy win for Tottenham. And you look at Arsenal against Oxford, another encounter which Arsenal will just close through. And it's a shame that Leicester will not be having Patson Daka. He's out injured. We would have loved to see him playing in the FA Cup and get his confidence back by scoring in such a competition. And we just hope to see the Giants qualifying so that it becomes even more competitive. Yeah. But we also want the romance. We want the underdogs eliminating the big boys. And
some of the other interesting games, we've got Sheffield Wednesday will be hosting Newcastle United, and last but not the least, we've got Liverpool who will be hosting Wolverhampton. And we've seen Liverpool struggling in terms of scoring goals, they always blame Nunes because he's been something else. And going to the Spain La Liga, we've got Villarreal who will be hosting Real Madrid, that's at 17:15. And we've got Marocca who will be hosting Real Valladolid, and we've got Espanyol who will be hosting Girona, not forgetting the Mafias, that's in Italy. We've got Fiorentina versus Sassuolo, Juventus versus Udinese, and we've got Monza versus Inter Milan. And going to the Scotland Premiership, that's a Scottish Premiership, we've got Aberdeen versus St Johnstone, Celtic versus Kilmarnock, and Ross versus Livingston. And just a quick one, Augustine, your final remarks as we come to the end.
So as we come to the end of the show, we would like to take a look at the Zambian players abroad. Fashion Sakala, he's been doing very, very well for Rangers. Since they changed their coach, they brought in a new coach, and he believes in Fashion Sakala, is giving him the much needed game time, and he's doing very well. And in Italy, I think shameful actions, Lecce when they faced Lazio, there were some racist abuse towards Lamek Banda and Samuel Umtiti. I think we stand against that, and we are in full support with Lamek Banda. The country is behind the lad. He's not alone in this fight against racism. Even the FIFA president came out and said something about that, and I think people will need to be punished. They need to understand that things have changed, and Patson Daka, like we have said, is out injured. Emmanuel Banda has moved from Djurgardens to Croatia to join a team in Croatia. He signed a 3-way deal. Is it to a deal? I think it feels like a downgrade, to be honest.
That's how I wanted to bring it up, because that's how I felt as well.
I think Croatian league, they might be. I believe they are ranked higher than the Swedish league, but it feels like a downgrade. At Djurgardens, he was playing in UEFA Champions League playoffs, Europa, but even the team that has joined in Croatia, they have played in the Europa group stages. Even the time that they met in the Conference League, he scored against them. Probably that's the time they thought they would sign him. But you always think when you are in those leagues like Sweden, the next step will be the top 5 leagues, France, Germany, Italy. That's what I thought with Emmanuel Banda, because he has got a lot of talent. But we just wish him all the best in his new challenge in Croatia. And Klins Kangwa, big player. There might be something big cooking up, and we will update the viewers when things happen, and when they do happen. Klins Kangwa, something is cooking up in the background, and it's exciting times for Zambian football. And Bola Yapazed is back. Week 18, we're back today to try and see who will be crowned the champions of the Super League as we enter the final stretch of the league. And we would love to urge each and every one of you out there to please check to the nearest stadium and support Bola Yapazedi. It is the best football around, and let's help our football grow. Let's help our league grow. Let's support Bola Yapazedi. Let's support women's football. And it's been a wonderful show, Amos, and I would like to say a big thanks to all you, the viewers out there. We always appreciate your support and your time, and a big thanks to the entire production team for making this possible. We'll see each other again, same place next week.
For our very own Camnet Stars, they are playing in Siavonga today, where they'll be hosted by Turbines, and the game is starting at 14 hours. We're just wishing our lads all the best as they continue to bring nothing but success to us, and Camnet Stars have been doing wonders. We saw our Division 2 having trials that have been going on because they want to enforce the team. But like Augustina said, this is where we have to come to the end of the show, and I've been your host Amos, and on behalf of the whole entire production team, Isaac upstairs, and not forgetting Pastors Victoria and Moses Chiluba for giving us this platform to give you nothing but the best in terms of sports. Ango Rapson, hopefully you'll be with us next week on set so that you defend yourself to why you've been in hiding. But for now, it's bye-bye. See you next week, same time, same place. Stay glued for Amazing Katamanda is coming on your screens with the weekly gospel show. We are out. Bye-bye. See you next week.